Right, now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going. Close. I think he got it down.
How strong is he?
Welcome back to the Pick and Go podcast, your one-stop shop for all things rugby union. And once again, we're sort of back to normal this week. I'm back in the Wellington studio.
Oh, yes. I've got friends today. I've got a friend today in the studio with me, everyone.
That's Piri Weepu. Yeah, he was in control last week. We can't have that again, I don't think.
No, come on. There's nothing wrong with it, Paulie.
Well,
He did a great job, Paulie. Some are saying he's better than you, mate.
not some, everyone. They're even slipping into my DMs. Nah, let Piri run the cutter. Don't worry about it.
There will be no structure if it was to happen, though.
A bit like the same when you're on the field. No structure.
Exactly. No structure, just off the cuff.
And, of course, you also heard our good friend Ben Searle of Surly Talk Sports. Surly, welcome back in, mate.
Yeah, cheers for having me, mate. It's good to see you two back together, actually. Dumb and Dumber back in the studio together. It's perfect.
Oh, I was going more Ren and Stimpy if you want.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That'll do.
I'll be dumb. Yeah. Right, where do we start? I don't know where we start. I thought we were going to have a nice structured show, everything. We've got a run sheet. Everything's going to run smoothly. It has to run smoothly because we've got to get out of the studio again.
You know it's your own fault, though, because you should have just stayed on the studio last week and then we wouldn't have this issue.
We're up in Auckland.
Yeah, well, here. You should have stayed here and then flown up to wherever you needed to be.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'll note that down. Fly after.
Anyway.
Yeah. What happened? Should we have a look at the punting? Because let's get the bad news out of the way first. Let's have a look. Last week, of course, we had Goldie on the show. And Goldie went, what did he do? There he is. There. He had two bets. He had All Blacks to win by 1-12 at $3.50. No. The All Blacks were just way too good. Way too good. And then he had Fiji to win. Yep. All Blacks to win. Yep. Argentina to win. Yep. Japan to win. Oh, the Japanese lost to Wales.
You.
Oh.
Sick guy, because I know this is coming. I know what's coming.
So he was down 100 for the week, and he's up $4 for the season.
Well, at least he's in the positives.
Yeah, you take that $4, mate. Yeah. Doesn't get you much these days, but quarter of a slab of butter, but still it's better than nothing.
A quarter? Where do you get your butter from?
Expensive these days, mate. $20 they want for some butter. Apparently it's good butter, but hey, you're not getting me to cough up $20 for that.
We must have some of the most expensive cows in the world. Jeepers. Anyway, Piri, two bets. Talking of cows, two bets.
Oh.
A draw at halftime, All Blacks to win. No.
Oh, well.
And then you had Fiji to win, All Blacks to win, Japan to win. Oh, what?
Hoping they'd come through. Damn it.
So minus $100, minus $1,335 for the season.
Okay. Have I won any bets? I've been shocking this year.
One. You've had one win.
It was only probably about $40, eh?
You won. It was $115. It was the Canes head-to-head against someone.
Random.
Just a random bet, yeah.
Anyway.
Surly, the one bright spot, he just had one bet, $100 on the All Blacks to win by 13 or more at $1.52. Meow. But it was a winner.
Hey, look.
That's
Sometimes, boys, you got to go conservative just to get on the winning board. I think I was on about an 8-week losing streak there, so I went back to the drawing board and it paid off for me.
Yep. So he was up $52 for the week, and he's down $124.52 for the season.
There we go.
I was horrible. I had the two wingers to score. So, Rico scored. Who was on the other wing? Another one.
On there.
Did he score? No.
Does it count if, Will Jordan goes to the wing?
No.
unlucky.
The starting winger.
Or a player out of position standing on the wing scores.
Yeah.
That should count.
Yeah, surely.
So, my same game multi, no good. Lost 100 for the week. I'm up $908.58 for the season.
Flex.
I don't like that. We're heading in the wrong direction over the last few weeks, so we'll sort that out this week, I'm sure. From there, where do we go?
Question time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is a question time. The question today for both of you guys: the All Blacks, they've got the Dave Gallagher trophy in the cabinet now, all locked up after just 2 tests. So how hard would they have celebrated on Saturday night, having won the first trophy for the season? And also, how hard did you celebrate when you were part of the All Blacks when they won a major trophy like the World Cup or the Rugby Championship?
Probably the Bledisloe, filling that up.
It's a big cup, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
What do you fill it up with?
The
sponsor's
product.
Isn't it like it's like 50 odd beers, wasn't it?
I couldn't tell you. I wasn't allowed to count how many it took to fill it up, but that'd probably be one. Most of the boys drink out of that once you knew that it was secured for the year. For World Cup, probably drank for a week.
Deserved.
Well, I guess it's a big build-up to the World Cup, and then the tournament takes a while to get to the final as well. So you're sort of in camp for about, what would it be?
6-7 weeks.
Almost 2 months.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's beforehand, and then obviously after we sort of won, celebrated a bit.
Yeah.
The day after the final, I went to the team room. This is pretty early, probably about 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock. And then seeing that there was no one in there, the fridge was stacked, so I grabbed the can and then, hello. My mate Ma'anoni walks in.
He was the next one in.
He was the next one in. We don't really drink much, but geez. And then he goes, oh, I've got the trophy in my room. I was like, go and get it, fill it up, that's us. So him and I was drinking for probably about an hour.
Before anyone else came in?
Yeah, but it was funny because it was a stag do. And I don't know, they pulled up down the side of the hotel, jumped down. Me and Mata heard sort of like a bit of cheering and chahooing and all that.
Yeah.
And so like we yelled out to them.
Come in.
They went down to they were at the bottom.
Yeah.
We were probably about 2 floors down, filled up the cup, and it was just told them to stand there, open their
Oh,
mouth.
what? Yeah, like off the balcony?
Out the window.
That is the best stag do ever. Imagine that. You're just rocking out, having beers with the boys. All of a sudden, you're drinking out of the World Cup trophy with Mata and Piri Weepu pouring it off a balcony. No one would believe you if you told that yarn, eh? You go home to the wife, you're like, babe, you won't believe it. She's like, shut up, you're drunk, mate. That never happened.
Was this on the Sunday after the World Cup? On the Sunday?
Yeah.
That is so good.
That is great. Did you have your own room or did you have a roomie with you?
Nah, my roomie was the Beaver, who was celebrating all night, and then I woke him up to like come back down and do some celebrations, but he was a bit...
He said, nah.
Give me a few hours and I'll be back on the hoi-ho and we'll charge on.
That's so good.
That is the greatest stag do story ever. You're right. No one would believe you unless you had that photographic evidence. I'm sure they were taking like video or photos.
I wouldn't have a clue at the time. We were just like happy just to pour the beer out of the cup and then them just standing there and just trying to pretend that they're drinking out of it properly, but they're just getting a face full of alcohol.
How far from where you were pouring down to where they were trying to...
Probably a good 40 meters.
That could hurt, eh?
It's exactly what I was thinking.
We didn't pour the whole, like we just poured so it wasn't sort of like a full cup.
Like a waterfall.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
Oh, okay.
Jeez, imagine if you dropped it. If you dropped the cup.
No, I'm pretty sure the boys would have reacted and caught it.
Well, there was early stages. They weren't even.
So they were still okay.
Yeah,
right.
Because
it was in
just
the
the
morning.
beginning. Yes,
Right.
I think it was just the beginning of the stag do.
That's massive. Well, I don't know what story you've got, certainly, but I don't. You've played a bit of footy. You still play a bit of footy yourself. Any sort of celebratory stories after winning a major cup or trophy?
Oh, nothing like that. That is out the gate. No, I would have loved to have been the stag on that weekend. That's elite. But no, we just the standard really. Saturday and then Sunday, Monday. If you win the thing, Monday's always the funnest. You struggle for numbers, but the people that show up are always a great time. But yeah, I'd like to think the boys sent it on Saturday night, especially like early in the season, right? When you pick up a win like that, it's great for bonding, and you got to celebrate those little moments, especially with what's to come. A night together like that, celebrating, can be huge for a team. I noticed Big Jim didn't let go of the trophy the whole time. Is that the tradition, that the newest cap has to look after the cup?
Yeah, it's usually, pretty much. The newbies are the ones that sort of have to look after everything if we are to take silverware home.
What's the punishment if they don't wake up with the trophy? Like if someone else gets their hands on it, do they roll the dice or
they get it back to the team room, nice and safe? And if anything happens after that, it's not on them; it's on everyone else.
Yeah, fair. Now we have the old shield I've mentioned a couple of times, and the young boys are meant to look after it, but a few times it's woken up in the wrong people's hands, and they got to roll the dice. You could end up bald, bleach blonde hair, the works. It's a pretty rough punishment if you're not willing to accept it.
So there's fair dinkum punishments if they don't look after the trophy like they should.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if have you seen that video from the Lions tour back in the day where they had to roll the dice, and I think it was Zebo, the winger, had to ring his coach and tell him that he wanted to be captain next year. There's nothing better than a dice roll.
It was so good. It was Munster, eh?
I think
it was Rob Penny.
It was Rob Penny, and he had to leave a message, and then he rung him back in front of the whole team, and he was like, "Hey, Rob, I think I should be captain next year." And it took him so long to work out it was a stitch up.
I don't know. Rob Penny, he comes across as a fairly serious kind of guy.
Yeah.
Well, you hear him laughing in the background because he figured it out.
Right.
That it was a stitch up.
So good.
Oh, boy. Right, let's move on. And a big, big win by the All Blacks on Saturday night here at the Tinny House, which hasn't been the best place for the All Blacks in recent times.
Well, it has against the French.
Well, they've never won here. But the All Blacks haven't, I guess, played their best footy here for the most part. But boy, oh boy, did they turn that round last Saturday night. What was it, 43-17 in the end? But that first, 20, 25 minutes, they just looked unstoppable. Their style of footy, first of all, Surly, was played at pace. I guess you could call it sort of high risk but high reward. And the first try was just an absolute thing of beauty where what they sort of sold the dummy on the open side, and then Artie Savere and Roygard went blind, and Roygard basically strode over and dotted down. It was just fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was fast, and it was clinical too, right? Like they had the tempo they had the week before, but they increased the accuracy and the execution of it, and it resulted in points. And I think this is the scoreline everyone was hoping for the week before, wasn't it? Like the All Blacks really hit their straps, and so often we see them start rusty, but they were so much better for the hit out, and that first 40 minutes they produced. Like the skill set between the forward pack as well, so encouraging. Like that's New Zealand style of footy, right? That try Tupou Vaa'i scored, that's one of the best All Black team tries we've scored in a couple years. Like Fabian Holland and co just popping up, short passes, under pressure, French defenders in their face, but they still execute, and it resulted and a great try. Like, that's what fills me with excitement as an All Black fan, because come the Springboks, come Argentina, come the Wallabies, that's the style of play we want to be playing, and to execute it in tough conditions in Wellington, I thought was really encouraging.
Piri, how impressed with you with the performance of the All Blacks?
Yeah, it was a pretty solid effort. I mean, like Shirley said, like just the interplay in close quarters. I mean, it helps when boys are actually punching onto the ball as well. Like Rico did from his wing, punched up and then popped it up, and just trying to play free-flowing footy. So yeah, I was pretty, I guess, happy with the result that the boys put in. Like, you know, they've obviously stepped up, did a bit of homework, stepped up, and just tried to make sure that they got rid of all their little errors that they had from the first game. But in saying that, I mean, the French did pretty well, even though they made 10 or 11 changes to their team. So it's like wondering, why would they do that when you would only make a couple of changes and give it your best to try and level the series, and then hopefully then you can sort of rotate your boys. But I guess it's a good exposure for them at that level for the boys coming through. But yeah, I thought it was a solid effort from the All Blacks.
Yeah, Shirley, I guess, look, discipline, slightly off, not too bad, but the All Blacks actually scored when they were down a man in that test. So there's a lot of positives to take out of that second test match in Wellington.
Yeah, Piri mentioned the changes, and that definitely played a factor. Like, I think Bodie had more test caps combined than the whole starting French side, right? And at test match footy, that can prove to be crucial. But I do think the All Blacks turned up the heat big time, and this French, B or C team that we've heard about for so long just weren't able to quite go with them. I'll be interested to see what type of French side shows up this week, because they looked embarrassed. They didn't even hang around for the trophy presentation, which I thought was pretty dusty, but the French can be quite emotional. But they'll be using that disappointment from last week to try get themselves up for this week. I just think the All Blacks are too classy for them. When you look at the performance of Ardy, I reckon him being skipper takes him to another level, especially playing at Wellington. He was outstanding. I thought Patrick Tuipulotu was massive. Tupo Vai injured now, unfortunately, so someone else will get a crack, but he was exceptional. And then guys like Roygaard and that, when we hit our straps and we're going to play this exciting style of rugby, it's really enjoyable to watch.
It does sort of suit the sort of players that we have, this fast-paced, up-tempo game. If you look at the likes of Roygaard, of Rico Ioane, even into the forward pack, Tupo Vai, who was sensational. And as Shirley said, that's one of the tries of the year so far.
Yeah, I think not only that, like you look at the impact coming off the bench as well, continuing that momentum, you know, not having to slow it down or anything like that. They're sort of picking the pace up with fresh legs. But I think there's just more the creativity this time around. You know, obviously Cam Roygaard's try pretty much walked over the try line. There was no one there to be seen from the French, but just that creativity around offset piece that they're showing, and I think everyone sort of, you know, enjoys when we're trying something as opposed to just sort of going through the motions or just doing the same old stuff. You know, let's just go to a maul. Well, let's actually not just go to a maul. Let's try and chance our arm and use a bit of creativity and try and get 5 points rather than just sort of looking for a penalty.
Shirley, it was a very emotional time for Tavatava Nawai prior to the game starting. He got on in the end. It was good to see him finally step out in the black jersey.
Yeah, it was. It was cool to see the emotion from him as well, right? Because so often when you see guys like Tavatava Nawai get a crack, a lot of negative people out there in the media just say, oh, you know, we're just doing it so he can't play for Fiji for the next few years, all that type of thing. But it just shows how much wearing the black jersey means to him. It was really cool to see. And I thought he played reasonably well. You know, it's a big emotional task to get up for a game like that. And you hear the players talk about the step up from Super Rugby to Test level. Duplessis Kirifi was referencing it the week before, just how much quicker, how much more intense and physical it is. So, yeah, I thought he made a decent showing of himself, and I think he's only going to get better at that level. And the thought of when we had Artie, Dupes, and him on at the same time, every ruck, right? You're just waiting for one of them to get in there and try pull off the steal. So, yeah, I was stoked for Tavatavanawai. Great reward for him. When you look at the pathway he's come through, it's almost textbook, right? Like NPC, started carving up, then Super Rugby, Moana, then down to the Landers for a bit more of a chance. And now he's made his way into the black jersey. It's pretty cool.
If you look at that, I guess, Duplessis Karifi, if you look at that, the All Blacks have a fair dinkum 1-2 punch now, sort of, depending on when Razor decides to bring Karifi on. It's like just as the forward pack of the opposition are starting to tire, bang, you get another world-class open side flanker coming on and pairing up with Artie if he moves to number 8. That's got to be a daunting task for the opposition when they see that happen.
We used to have that against Australia and also the Springboks, I mean, having Pocock on the other side of the field, what we used to do was practice and have a bib on our boys that aren't playing that week, that are either on the bench or not playing at all. And one of them would run around the field wearing a bib to show where Pocock would be. And so, to try and get over things like that, because they're obviously going to have to figure out, once we go to the championship against Argentina, the Springboks as well, and when we play the Wallabies, is where exactly are their biggest threats. And if it's, at the breakdown, we've got to make sure we nullify that. So for us to have that now, that threat, I'm pretty sure teams will be keeping a close eye on that, not just Artie, if you bring Dupes on, or even have that luxury of a second 5'8" that's solid over the ball and hard to move, you're going to be worried about making sure you take care of the breakdown. It's probably why the Springboks have gone to Moors now, from a line out in the middle of the field.
Yeah, we'll touch on that too.
It's a fair point though, right? Because Tupou Vaa'i, having him start at 6 means you don't have to carry another lock on the bench if you don't want to, and you can go to loose forwards. And when you look at the injuries in the loose forwards at the moment, like Wallace and that are still to come back. So it just means you can roll on a Duplessis Karifi and a Leo Willie, or a Duplessis Karifi and a Samapeni Finau at the same time, because South Africa's 6 and 7, they play like backs. They use them in those wider channels to breach the line. You can almost fight fire with fire. It's pretty exciting.
And then you bring on Tavatavanawai, who is sort of another loose forward in himself, with the amount of turnovers that he creates at ruck time. So, yeah, it's it was a very, very impressive performance by the All Blacks. And although the French did make a whole heap of changes, and you could have thought maybe they stick to the team that they had in the first test because they were so close. But they obviously had a predetermined plan about how they were going to approach this.
So if you
series.
were the coach now for the last game, would you go back to the starting team that you started with and try and create stop a sweep?
Yes.
Or would you try and still bleed your players?
I'd go the best team. I'd put my best team on.
I would have thought they would have done that for the second game.
It's so French, right? It's so French to just mix it up for the second game, whereas we've seen the proper approach from Razor, where it's get the job done, then this week you'll probably see Ruben Love. Guys like that get an opportunity, and they deserve to have a crack, but that's what you do when the series is done, not series on the line, 10 changes after pushing the All Blacks to within 4 points. Like, it just screams to me so French.
Well, there was another team last weekend that made 10 or 11 changes, and they didn't seem to have too much trouble. Of course, the Springboks, who played the Italians in their second test. And, if the All Blacks were impressive, so were the Springboks. They were very, very good against the Italians. What was it, 45-0 in the end. They played the bulk of that game down to 14 men after their number 8, Jasper Visa, and got red carded. And then I think they had a yellow card at some stage where they were down to 13 players. It didn't stop them. They looked very, very good. 11 changes, doesn't matter for South Africa. I just think it goes to show the depth that they have over there. And well, Rassie Erasmus, he's very, very, he's an interesting character. He's one of the most unique rugby brains in the world, I guess you could say. And we saw a bit of that on display in that second test, Surly.
Yeah, we did. I like how Razor came out. A journalist asked him yesterday what he made of it all, and he said, that kickoff move, we actually did that overseas when I was playing rah-rah-rah. So Razor's staking his claim that Rassie's just using other material that perhaps has been used before, but I wasn't a fan of the kickoff. I was a fan of the maul mid-phase, and I think I saw a South African high school team roll that out a month or so ago as well, so perhaps Rassie got inspired from that. My question is, like, how quickly will World Rugby jumping on a Teams call to try and create a way to find a rule to make that illegal? Because is that legal? Like, it's general play. If the opposition team doesn't engage, is that not obstruction? Like, when can you form a more? It's going to open up a full can of worms, and I can see TMOs all across the world just licking their lips at the chance to intervene there and rule out a try. But yeah, the kickoff move, I was stoked to see them free kicked against them. The maul in phase play, I didn't mind that.
The in phase line out maul.
Well, it's sort of like it's been done in the past without the jumping.
Yeah.
Like, teams try and set up a maul in the middle of the field no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're doing is they're actually protecting their jumper, the person that's going to set the actual maul up. So it's actually pretty smart on their behalf.
You can't attack the jumper until he's down on the ground.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but the difference for me, like in play maul, it's the ball carrier just getting stacked and then people join the contact from there. So the guy at the front actually has the ball. In this play, the guy at the back has the ball, and this is general play. Is that not obstruction? Like, if you're going to rule out All Blacks tries for obstruction and lead runners running down, like, this is different to me.
It's all like going up in the air, coming down with the ball. He's still the person receiving the ball still got the ball, and once the opposition make contact, then it's turned into a maul. Then you can actually feed it back to the guy at the back. What I find difficult is how are teams going to defend this now, knowing that something like this is going to happen? What would you do? Like, because I know there's with the actual line out, sometimes teams sit back and wait, and as soon as they advance, they try and go and get the person that's at the back of the maul and rip him out of the maul because there's no offside line. So it's pretty strategic in the way, and I've already seen the Northern Hemisphere crying about it. Jeez, they've been crying since
I saw Italy had a penalty advantage against them, right? And then the Springboks ended up scoring the next phase because that guy just came in from the side and tried to take him out. So obviously you can't do that. So it's like, where do we go now?
Yeah. So it's like, I think I watched a clip where Rassie said that he seen the idea from Paul Roos, which is the under-19s C or D team who were utilizing that, and then we just never would have thought that something like that would happen on the world stage for an international team, and for him to use it and it being effective. Geez, look out everyone else, because everyone's going to have to start catching up with some of the innovation that the Springboks are creating.
Either teams will have to catch up, or the officials will find a ruling that then nullifies the sort of initiatives that they're coming up with.
It's like that the year, I think it was Italy, didn't set a ruck, so their players were in the way of the pass from the 9 to the 10. And I remember, I think it might have been, it would have been the skipper at the time asking the question to the referee, and the referee said, I'm not your coach. I'm just the ref. I can't tell you what to do. Because they were gobsmacked on, like, the boys trying to say that they're offside, but they're in the passing lane. There's no ruck form, so there's no offside line. They just can't bloody tackle the 9 as he's about to take it up.
Shirley, you had a ruling as well?
No, I was just wondering, like, if this is all just a big bluff, though. Like, are they actually going to use that against the All Blacks? I reckon Rassie's just using this chance now to send some warning shots and try throw people off. I can't see them doing this at Eden Park, surely.
Well,
I can't wait for the 2 Springbok tests here in New Zealand. They will be absolutely sensational.
honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Like, just the way that they've changed their style of play as well. It's not just we said the other week. It's not your usual smash and bash. They've got a bit of creativity. They use quite a bit of that against the Barbars, leading into the Italian game as well. And we saw a bit of it on the weekend. On top of their creativity.
I just look. I know we're still at the test against France this weekend, and we'll get to that soon. But
everyone's moved on, mate.
I keep looking towards those 2 Springbok tests here in New Zealand. I think, what if one of them is a draw? Should we get Razor and Razzie to have a dance off or something after the game? Just to, I don't want. Hate it to finish in a draw. Even though I don't see too much.
Is the golden point a option at international level?
Yeah, but
what do you mean one each? One each, like we win Eden Park, they win Wellington.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I don't mind a dance off. I think Razor's got him there, but I think Razor's got a few tricks up his sleeve himself. That maul try on the weekend, like everyone's talking about how creative Rassie is. Well, Razor's 1 from 1 as well. Him and Jason Ryan, maybe there are Rassie.
That was like a magician move. Like it was like, oh, look over here. Oh no, we gone over there.
I feel sorry for the cameraman. He was sold too. He was following Leo Willie, and then he was like, "Oh shit!"
Hang on. You know the move has worked really, really well when the camera follows the wrong players. So yeah, that was a super, super move. Right, one more question before we head into a look at what's happening this weekend. With the series all wrapped up now against the French, do the All Blacks take the foot off the gas? First of all, do they take the foot off the gas? Secondly, do they make wholesale changes because it's a dead rubber? Sealy?
I think they make changes. I don't know about wholesale. Due to injuries, they probably can't make as many changes as they would have liked to in terms of giving guys opportunity, because someone like Fabian Holland is still going to have to play 80 minutes, which is what he's been doing every test so far anyway, which is crazy for a guy first year. But they won't take the foot off the throat. They'll want a clean sweep. It's the start of their test season, so they will want to continue to build and create momentum. I do think we'll probably see D-Mac at 10, Ruben Love at 15, a couple changes like that. Noah Hotham will get a trot. I think McAllister might get a run at hooker, although probably off the bench because it should be Cody Taylor's 100th test, and he'll want to get that on home soil before we head over to Argentina, surely. So there'll be a few changes there. Guys will get opportunities. I think Razor has said the goal is for everyone to get a run. The interesting one for me, does someone like a Naitoa Akoi come onto the bench now that Tupavati's out injured? We've seen him training with the team. Does he get an opportunity? Guys like Luke Jacobson and that should get a run too. So I'm excited for this team naming because we have the depth to still put out a really strong team.
It wouldn't surprise me to see Akoi get a spot on the bench. I mean, we saw Leo Willie, who was injury cover initially, and then wound up having the number 8 jersey on in the first test. So obviously there will be some changes just due to the injuries that have been sustained so far, Piri. But do the All Blacks take the foot off the gas?
No, not at all. Obviously, they would be wanting to work on their depth and making sure that these boys are, I guess, primed for international footy and give their best performance. So I don't think they'll take their foot off the throat. I think they'll. Oh no, they will. But I still think that they've still got a few things that they need to work on, so that for our depth, if we get these injuries, these boys sort of need to have that taste of international footy before we go up against the likes of the Springboks, Argentina, Australia, because I think their boys probably will be a bit more physical, a lot more, a bit bigger in the way that they run too. I mean, they don't care about their body; they're just running full throttle into contact. So now would be the perfect time to get a few of the boys conditioned to it and primed and ready for championship.
Right, let's look ahead to this weekend. And there's one test match that we definitely want to touch on. It's the third test between the All Blacks and the French. bookmakers have opened up the All Blacks as $1.07 favourites. French are $7.50. 20.5-point underdogs, the French. I think they got out to 21.5 in the first test. I think they're around 18.5 in the second test. They're 20.5 at the moment for the third test, and the total set at 57.5. Of course, this one will be played up in the city of the future, the Tron. Not too far for Surly to go if he wants to pop down to watch this test match. But having a look at those odds, have you got a sort of a lean at this early stage of the week prior to teams being named, Surly?
It's a tough one, right? Because you could see it going either way. The French fired up, they respond and keep it reasonably tight. All Blacks make a number of changes and perhaps some new combinations there, and it doesn't quite stick. Or you could just see that the French have just rolled over and surrendered now, and we pump them again. For me, I reckon that 11-20 is still appealing. I've been on it almost every week, and it hasn't rewarded for me yet. So hopefully the third test is the one to do it. I think it's $3.30. I think with the changes that we make, we will still win and win comfortably. But yeah, I probably thought around that 15-point margin would be a good result for us, because I think we're going to see 6 or 7 changes to the starting lineup.
Piri, having a look at those numbers there, are you, the game total or the line minus 20.5, does anything sort of tweak your interest?
No, not really.
Short and sharp.
Yeah, no.
Well, I'm looking.
So you're saying that the bookies they've got it pretty much where it should be?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's not going to be much in terms of style that they're going to play. I think it'll be, now that they've shown their creativity around them more, they'll be looking for other opportunities now. Obviously, they've gone down the short side. There might be other opportunities in the open from a trick play around the more. But I think it's pretty accurate in terms of what the bookies have come up with.
Let's just touch on another test match that's coming up this weekend. It's the first test between Australia and the British and Irish Lions. Of course, the Lions are coming off that midweek win over the Brumbies. Brumbies put up a great fight, and then, of course, they took on the Australia-New Zealand Invitational side, and boy, they did look very, very good. I guess it's fairly hard for that invitational side to get any sort of combinations going with very little time to prepare. But having said that, Surly, the Lions were very, very good.
Yeah, they were really good defensively, which, like you said, it's hard for the Anzacs, a new team thrown together for the first time. Tough to get any combinations or gel going, but I thought the Lions just dominated them physically, especially on defense, forced them into a load of errors. And any time the Anzacs kind of breached their line or made a half break, the Lions then just forced them into a mistake and they weren't able to finish it off. But I've been impressed with the Lions this tour. I thought the Wallabies were going to be on, but I'm really starting to second guess that now, because when the Lions have played their top team and gone about their work, they've looked